training camp yet. We have not even made it to the December 12th Women's USA Basketball training camp yet.
Something huge is happening in the basketball world, bigger than a roster update or a trade rumor. And it has the entire sports community arguing, debating, and refreshing their feeds nonstop. Team USA just made a move that many fans see as flat-out disrespectful toward Caitlin Clark. And the reaction has turned into a full-scale wildfire. You can feel the tension pulsing through social media. You can hear the frustration in interviews. And you can see the shock spreading through people who never expected this kind of drama before the international stage even begins. Here's the core of the controversy. Caitlin Clark, one of the most influential and widely recognized athletes in women's basketball right now, is being pushed to give up her trademark jersey number. It isn't a rumor or an exaggeration. Reports and insiders confirm it. That number has been part of her identity since she was lighting up arenas in college, breaking records, pulling massive crowds, and transforming women's sports into a mainstream conversation. When the most talked about player in the world is told she cannot keep the number that millions associate with her name, people react. And they reacted instantly. This wasn't quiet criticism. This was loud, raw, emotional, a tidal wave.
Who is not one of the top 12 to 15 WNBA players, did not make the Olympic team. But Christian Laettner wasn't one of the top 100 players in the NBA, and he made an Olympic team. Olympic basketball team, men's and women's, has always been subjective and very political at the end of the roster. Isaiah Thomas didn't make it. Why? Michael Jordan didn't like him. The WNBA Finals had 700,000 viewers. The draft that included Caitlin Clark had 3 times as many. Life, whether it's a relationship, business, sports, life gives you so few big waves. When they do, grab your surfboard. Women's basketball feels like it's suffering from spite or historically low self-esteem, where they want to prove that they know more than you do.
And with that, whispers began. Tiny at first, like rumors drifting through hallways, but growing fast. Now those whispers are turning into real conversations. What if Caitlin decides she won't play under these conditions? What if she pushes back? What if she walks away from the team, even temporarily? The idea no longer sounds impossible. When someone as big as Clark feels undervalued, she has leverage that very few athletes in history possess. She brings viewership. She brings new audiences. She brings the economy of attention. Losing her wouldn't simply be a missing player. It would be a global headlines event. This situation has thrown Team USA into territory they did not expect to navigate. Instead of preparing for competition, they are trapped inside a public relations hurricane. Everything they say now will be analyzed, replayed, dissected. Fans are paying attention in a way they rarely do for administrative decisions in women's basketball. Every detail matters. Every reaction counts. And suddenly, the upcoming games feel less like a celebration of talent, and more like a test of leadership, ego management, and cultural awareness. But before we explore how deep this storm goes, and trust me, it goes deeper, I want to ask you something directly. If you were the one making the call, what would you do? Should Caitlin Clark be allowed to wear the number she made global? Should she get to keep something that has become recognizable across highlights, billboards, broadcasts, and little girls wearing replica jerseys to school? Should the most influential figure in the sport right now be granted that right without a debate, without hesitation?
This is the, these are the Team USA. And these are the player numbers. So obviously, Kelsey Plum, number 5. Jackie Young, 13. You have Griner, 15. Chelsea Gray, 8. Kalia Copper, 7. And then everybody that was not on the roster is above number
4. And this is the other side. Is Team USA simply following their system? Are they just enforcing policy with no bias? Applying rules equally to everyone, even if that everyone happens to be one of the most famous women on the planet right now? Is it fair to treat her like every other player, regardless of fame? Some would argue yes. That structure must come before celebrity. That tradition should stand firm even against a rising superstar. I want to hear your opinion. The comment box is there for a reason. Drop your take, because people's voices are actually shaping this story. Fans aren't just watching, they are influencing the momentum. Now let's go deeper into what makes this situation so dramatic. Because it isn't just about a stitched number on fabric. It's about legacy, ownership, perception, and power. For years, women's basketball has begged for widespread attention. It fought against being overlooked, underfunded, underpromoted. Classic legends played without the spotlight they deserved. Then Caitlin Clark arrived like a spark in a dry forest. She didn't just show up, she changed the market. Arena attendance spiked everywhere she went. Merchandise flew off shelves. Ratings jumped to numbers networks had never seen for women's games. She created something that money alone couldn't buy: cultural relevance. When a player reaches that level, decisions around them carry weight. Telling her to give up her number doesn't land like a routine jersey assignment, it lands like a statement. It suggests that the institution, despite benefiting from her influence, is unwilling to bend for her. To many, it feels like symbolic control. You may be popular, but we still decide. And that is exactly why people are upset. If Caitlin Clark keeps the number, she carries brand continuity, fan familiarity, and marketing power. The jersey itself becomes a product. Young fans want her number, not just a Team USA design. Removing it feels like breaking a link between the athlete and the story she wrote. But let's flip the angle, because to be fair, Team USA isn't working with an empty room. There are veterans who have been grinding long before Clark's rise, players who built the program with sweat and sacrifice. In their eyes, respecting hierarchy matters. Earning status matters. If rules have always been rules, then making an exception might feel like favoritism, and that could fracture team unity. So now we have a crossroads. One side, the future, the new wave, the massive audience Caitlin brings. The other, tradition, seniority, structure, the foundation of Team USA culture. And with one decision, they triggered both sides at once. The organization is officially in damage control mode. They must balance egos without losing trust. They must protect the veterans without upsetting the market. They must keep the sport growing without appearing afraid of growth. They must keep Caitlin happy, because losing her would be catastrophic. But they also cannot alienate players who have been representing the country long before her. Here's what's even more intense. This is only the beginning. If a number caused this much noise, imagine what happens when roster spots are finalized. Imagine if she doesn't start. Imagine if she doesn't get minutes. Imagine the headlines. Right now, the future is uncertain, and that uncertainty is why the conversation is loud. But it also shows how powerful this moment is. Women's basketball isn't ignored anymore. It isn't struggling for attention. It isn't begging for coverage. It is glowing under a spotlight so bright that a number change can shake an entire federation. That is massive. That is history. Let's dive straight into what everyone's arguing about, because this is not a small headline or a routine roster update. This is something that exploded across social media, sports networks, podcasts, radio shows, comment sections, and group chats within minutes. Team USA Basketball made a decision that has rattled fans, irritated analysts, and left a huge portion of the basketball world feeling confused, angry, and honestly a little betrayed. And the center of this situation is one athlete. Not just any athlete, but Caitlin Clark, the rising star who has become the face, heartbeat, and economic engine of women's basketball. The issue sounds small on the surface, just a jersey number change, but anyone who follows sports knows that numbers carry history, emotion, connection, and pride. A jersey number isn't an accessory, it becomes an identity. When you think of famous players, you often remember them by the number on their back before anything else. So when Team USA told Caitlin Clark she could not keep the number that millions have come to associate with her, the reaction was instant and violent, like a match dropped on dry gasoline. People weren't just surprised, they were furious. Fans who have supported Clark since her college days at Iowa were stunned. Comment sections flooded with disbelief. Analysts questioned whether USA Basketball understood what they had done. Former athletes chimed in with opinions ranging from disappointment to outright condemnation. Nobody was calm. You could scroll for 10 minutes and not find a single person shrugging it off. It was outrage wall to wall, because to many, this felt intentional. It felt personal. It felt like a message being delivered through silence rather than words. You have to remember, Caitlin Clark is not an ordinary rookie. She shattered college scoring records, filled arenas to capacity, turned casual viewers into devoted followers, and brought women's basketball into mainstream conversation the same way icons like Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, and Tiger Woods did for their sports. She isn't simply popular, she's transformational. When she plays, ratings jump. Seats sell. Merch flies off shelves. Kids wear her number to school. Sports bars turn on the volume. People who don't even watch basketball know who she is. So for Team USA to strip her number away without a clear explanation instantly looked disrespectful. And once the public felt disrespect, everything changed. The narrative shifted from excitement about upcoming international competition to suspicion about motives. Instead of talking about lineups, rotations, or medal chances, everyone was asking the same thing. Why take her number away? Why now? Why like this? Some fans believe it was a move meant to humble her. A quiet reminder that no player, no matter how famous, is bigger than the program. Others think it was meant to protect the feelings of veterans who may feel overshadowed by the youngest superstar on the roster. A third group suspects politics, a behind-the-scenes power struggle between tradition and the new era she represents. Whatever the real reason is, the effect was nuclear. Because to millions, it doesn't look like structure. It looks like punishment. It looks like gatekeeping. It looks like resentment disguised as rules. And once people feel something, really feel it, rational explanations don't calm them down. Here's the raw truth nobody wants to say out loud. Without Caitlin Clark, viewership collapses. Without Caitlin Clark, ticket sales shrink. Without Caitlin Clark, half the world stops paying attention. She is the spark. She is the reason casual fans are here. She is the reason highlight edits go viral and why every game broadcast has record-breaking numbers. Not recognizing that power is one thing, but acting against it is something much bigger. And now, because of one number, Team USA has a PR crisis on their hands. A crisis they created. People are questioning leadership. Journalists are asking for transparency. Fans are threatening boycotts. Even those who support other players are stepping in, saying they don't want to see unnecessary tension pushed onto a young superstar who has done nothing but elevate the sport. And here's where things get even more dramatic, more intense than anyone expected. Rumors are swirling that Caitlin Clark might push back. Not violently, not publicly, but with her choice to participate or not. Because when an athlete understands their value, their power changes. Caitlin Clark is no longer asking for recognition, she has it. She doesn't need to beg for her number, the world already calls it hers. If she walks away, even for a moment, the headlines write themselves. Narratives shift. Questions multiply. Sponsors panic. TV networks sweat. And Team USA suddenly becomes the organization that pushed away the biggest star in the sport. The possibility might sound unlikely to some, but there is tension in the air now, tension thick enough to taste. If this much chaos came from a number, imagine the explosion if more decisions follow in the same direction. Because this situation is not just about a uniform. It's about respect. It's about identity. It's about power dynamics between tradition and evolution. It's about what happens when a sport finally gets the spotlight it has deserved for decades, and then struggles to handle the spotlight properly.